Welcome, Ungas, Bungas, and non-binary Gungas.
Welcome, Ungas, Bungas, and non-binary Bungas. Welcome to another episode of the Unga Bunga Bunga Bunga. We'll be Ungaing your bunga right. Hello, guys, gals, and non-binary pals, and welcome to another installment of the 5 o'clock reboot, where I constantly forget to record audio.
Okay, it's okay, Dad.
I will never not be salty about every single time I end up messing that up. There will never be a moment where I'm not salty about that, because that was golden. You all missed it.
It was a damn good episode.
We were literally joking about going to the gym, and I was like, yeah, boy, check out these fucking meat pies. And I go to flex and didn't realize there was a boulder sitting on my arm.
We talked about that boulder for a solid like 20 minutes.
I was dying for like 20 minutes. Very upsetting.
Yeah, but hey, it's okay. It's okay. We're here today in the beginning of October. Start 5 o'clock reboot Octoberfest.
Yes.
And I am so excited for what you've brought us today.
So, as you all know, I don't like beer. But, promise is a promise. Oktoberfest is officially upon us, and it is famous for all the German beers that you could possibly try. I won't lie to you. Dreaded this 4 months, knowing that this day was coming. But I intend to stay in full spirits the entire time that we're doing it. I had a couple of plans kind of strewn out if money wasn't going to hurt me as bad for one of the things that we could have done for Oktoberfest. But that's going to depend upon money.
Got some ideas as well for the final weeks.
It's good stuff. But today we're kind of starting it off as un-German as possible, but still German. We're drinking our Samuel Adams Oktoberfest brews. I actually don't know if there's anything special written about these boys. Hearty and smooth. It's a seasonal item. It's a lager. Never actually drank Samuel Adams, I believe.
All right.
Freshness matters. Enjoy before month notched. Okay, well, we'll be enjoying it before January.
Yes, we will.
Thankfully. So, won't lie to you. Dreaded this, but you gotta do what you gotta do.
There's. I feel like for me, there's a curiosity. Like there's a curious excitement that is absolutely like just got me like kind of frozen. You know, because I'm so excited to try this. Then at the same time, I'm also afraid that it'll be garbage.
I'm like 95% sure it's just gonna be garbage. Hot garbage.
That while he's sipping on that one, I'll drink the 5 others that are sitting before us.
Yeah, probably.
Well, without further ado, we have to pop these bad boys open.
The opening of the bottle.
Oh, yeah. Let me see that thing.
Just have a little taste, boy. You're being too nice to it. Cheers.
Yeah, it says cheers.
Cheers.
Ooh,
I can smell the beer.
smells hearty. Without further ado,
First one's free.
that's a beer, by God. That's good. Flavorful. Oh, buddy.
Let's get this shit over with.
Mind if I go ahead and crack my other one and
Go for it. That's a beer, by God.
yeah.
So, it's no secret. I don't like beer. It is what it is. You live and you live. But, as I said, as promised, I will be holding up to my part of the deal. I'll be drinking these and try to be keeping up with Alex the entire time. Trying, being the optimal word.
Look at that damn beer.
Look at that head. Oh.
That's a pretty beer. You don't
Yeah. Look at that head. Oh. So why don't you start us off, Alex? You got some things you were saying you were wanting to talk about.
Okay, so some news.
Some news.
A while back, I co-wrote a song with a good buddy of ours. Isaac Cole. And you know, like I recorded it with him and stuff. He let me sing backup vocals on it, which was very nice of him. Because, like, you know, he didn't have to do that, and he's just so kind. But the reason why I'm bringing this up is because my mom owns a little thrift shop in town, and this fella came in from out of town. I think he's from like Canada or something like that. And mom was talking to him, and because she sells some of Isaac's albums in her shop, and he was like. She was like, "Do you like country music?" And he was like, "Yeah." He's like, "I like a lot of the artists that ain't that mainstream, like a lot of stuff you don't hear on the radio as much." And she said, "Oh, well, have you ever heard of Isaac Cole?" He was like, "Yeah, I like Isaac a lot." He was like, "I like his music a lot." And she said, "Well, my son wrote a song with him a while back," and she told him about the tunnel and everything, and he was like, "Holy shit, I have that song on my phone right now. I'm on some Canadian's friggin' phone, bro."
I almost shat myself because we were talking about Coulter Wall.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure he's Canadian.
he is.
So you literally almost made me shit myself because that was the topic of conversation. I was about to be like, did Coulter Wall for some reason show up to a thrift shop? I was like, yeah, no. I like this guy. I've got that song on my phone right now. I would have literally shat my pants.
That would have been sexy as shit. I wish that things worked out that way.
That would have been crazy.
I would be so proud of Isaac for real. I mean, I am proud of him because he's doing what a whole bunch of people don't necessarily have the courage to do. You know what I'm saying?
And succeeding,
yeah. Like that's what I was like. I mean, I didn't say he was trying. I said motherfucker was doing it.
Yeah.
But yeah. Speaking of Coulter Wall also released a couple new songs.
I'm gonna have to give those a listen.
One of which is called Cypress Hills and the Big Country Below. The other song is called Let's All Help the Cowboys Sing the Blues, which is a come fuck me song.
Are we talking like Hey Nani Nani?
No, not like I fucked all these girls. No, it's like hey, cowboys have a way with the women. And cowboys, tend to let their hearts hang out.
Along with other things.
Massive hams.
Those massive hams.
But he's like, hey, ladies, I ask you, give it a try. Let's all help the cowboys sing the blues. You know what I mean?
Well, all right.
Yeah.
I haven't been doing much this week. Still going to the gym every day. I'm trying to switch up the schedule though. I'm wanting to start going in the mornings so that I'll have time to actually go to bed at a decent hour and do things like have company over and not be like, sorry, can't hang out, gotta go to the gym. And like start being able to go to the bar again and stuff like that and hang out with my buddies. Because going to the bar at night, whenever you work night shift, kind of takes up a good portion of your day.
Yeah.
So
I would say so.
Yeah, it gets really difficult to hang out with everyone and even have company over if I'm trying to like go work out at 12 a.m. to 4 a.m. Excuse me. Didn't remember her. Ooh.
Woo.
But it seems like this week, all in all, has been pretty well uneventful.
Yeah.
I mean, there's been so much going on in the past couple of weeks that it seems like it's finally plateaued. Everything's kind of finally just calmed down, and we're slowly reaching into fall season, and it's gotten to the point that we're finally just chilling. I will say though, it's been a really weird week as well, because you guys already know I'm going back to my alternative look. Nails painted, rings, got my ears re-pierced. I'm actually going to take care of them this time. So I have like a whole different look about me now while I'm at work. And I did notice that the tips are not as plentiful whenever there's the alternative dude wearing overalls.
Really?
Yeah, it was a little test that I made. I was making maybe 30, 40 bucks a night, and then I stopped doing it yesterday, and I made about 80 something bucks. It's like, damn, wow. And also people ended up hitting on me more. That was weird. I didn't like that. Yeah, someone gave me like a Cash App, and they were like, would have gave more, but yada, yada, yada. And I was like, I don't know about it, Chief.
Did you say would have gave more, but...
Well, because at my job I go by Jensen because we have like several other Dereks that work there, and so during our little shtick, I have to go by Jensen, and they did not like the fact that my name was not legally Jensen, which it is. It's my last name.
Yeah.
But they didn't like the fact that it wasn't my first name, and I was like, okay.
Fuck off, right?
And I was like, I didn't realize that I was supposed to be taking you home tonight for you to tell me what to do with my name. Thank you. Have a good day. What a day. It's been a very slow and uneventful week for me. I didn't really have a whole lot to do. Not a lot of news going on for me. I mean, I have a Minecraft server now.
Really?
Yeah, so me and my buddy Christian, who I go to the gym with, we have a Minecraft server now. That's basically what's been taking up all my time. So he put a bunch of mods on a Minecraft server. We've been playing that for a hot minute now. And I'm like the leader of a little town. But then he just gave me a bigger town to lead. Boy, are you going to take a breath anytime soon? Jesus.
Good.
For you.
I'm trying to do you a favor.
That's also a sound that's been going on at my work now. The funny thing about it is like I just kind of like started making that noise, just and then people slowly started chiming in and joining. And it's become like this big thing. Like everyone knows it's annoying, but it's also funny because we did it in the hallway. It was a bunch of buildings that are like connected together via the hallway, and so we're just kind of just sitting in the back rooms, just and it's progressively getting louder and louder.
A lot of fucking
Exactly.
Gosh, I'm about to have my soul leave my body here in a minute.
I feel like this is going to be a rather uneventful episode to a degree as well. I do apologize if I just for some reason cannot pull a topic out of my ass. But I had a couple plans for because Octoberfest is one thing, October is another. It's Halloween,
Yes.
Big thing for Halloween. Been trying to keep up with everything and run everything the way that it should be running. my main sort of dealio. Why are you calling me right now? You know that I'm in the middle of doing a podcast, my guy. I love you, but I'm not answering the phone. You just made me lose my train of thought too, you son of a bitch.
Your main sort of dealio right now is October.
Oh, Halloween. Spooky season. Spooky. I'm a spooky dude. Loved Halloween ever since I was a kid, and especially once I started becoming like a full-blown cosplayer. Halloween was like my big thing because Halloween's like a day to dress up. Boy, I'm a cosplayer. I dress up whatever I want.
Yeah.
But also I just like the spooky season vibe. It's a lot of fun. Not to mention goth girls. If you're wearing fishnets, please call me at 188-2375. God, my brain is just not here today.
Dude, I feel you. It's all right.
I'm also trying to deal with this.
You're doing a good job. You're doing a very good job. I'm very excited for Halloween. Now, now that fall time is officially upon us, what's your favorite Halloween memory?
Well, I would say my favorite full-time memory was usually just trick-or-treating with my family. But my most recent one was going to Halloween Horror Nights with my ex. Still one of my most cherished memories. Because that was like huge. It was a huge deal for me. Because I've never been to Universal. I've never gone out and done things besides going to Disney once. And I've only been to Disney once, which I still need to go back. Super cool venue all around. They had like these scare zones from some of them were just like made up. Some of them were from specific TV shows and things like that in movies. They had a Beetlejuice scare house. Absolutely the best. I don't really do scare houses because my fight or flight kicks in, and I don't know if you can tell this or not, but I ain't got feathers, so there's only one other option. But it was just such a cool experience. The food was awesome. The drinks were great. And just the whole atmosphere was great. It's, to this day, will always be one of my most cherished memories, is being able to spend time with that person and doing all the stuff that we did together, because it was awesome. You know, there's a lot of memories that I would replace and get rid of. That's not going to be one of them.
Got you.
I'll happily make new memories, but you know, I will be finding myself to be a frequent flyer of Halloween Horror Nights from this point forward. So we're, I'm a pretty big fan of that specific memory, but beyond that, most of my memories have always been like going with a family, going trick-or-treating. I don't really do, like I said, I don't really do haunted houses. I've been to like Frightmare, stuff like that, but that one I don't really consider to be scary, right? Everyone's always like terrified of that. I go in there and I just make fun of people the whole time.
Oh, I got
I'll
you.
like lag behind the group a little bit, and they'll like try to sneak up behind me, and I can hear them sneaking up, and I'm just like, just go ahead. Their name is this. They're afraid of this. Have fun.
I got you.
I'm one of those guys. Those guys that you guys hate that go to scare houses. Sorry.
I'm a wuss when it comes to like haunted houses and stuff like that. I've been to one, and I ended up having a blast. Like, it was awesome once I got, like once you get used to it, you know what I mean? Because like in the beginning, like if you are a wuss, like in the beginning you're like, oh my god, you're kind of freaky. But then like as time goes on, like the first couple times that they get you, you're just like, oh god, But after that, it's just like, oh, you motherfucker. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because I think that there's a part of you that forgets like these are just normal people.
Well, it's not even that. It's just like the fact that it's just something
go,
like they're in your face for a second.
Booga, booga. You're like, you motherfucker.
Yeah, that's really what it is.
I actually used to. I remember I actually worked in a scare house once.
Really?
So it was a volunteer firefighters who made a community little scare house in their working space. And I mean, they put up tarps and they made like a maze that they had to go through, and they advertised it to the city. And we were just trick-or-treating, and I was like, hey, do you guys need help? Just joking. And they're like, yeah, dude. Yeah, we need actors. Like, do you want to do it? And I was like, yeah,
absolutely.
And so like, they just like gave me like their array of stuff. They had different tools from their work and stuff like that. And you could like bang them on the ground and drag them around and stuff like that. And we had a time, and apparently I did so well that they wanted me to come back and help the next day. But I was like, I'm sorry, I gotta go work.
I'm sorry.
Duty
does call.
I would have loved to. I've actually thought about seeing if I could do a little pop-up scare house, and I would make it to where like it's actually good. There's some of the ones that are out there that are okay to an extent, but like there's some of them that just really miss a mark. Because like, yeah, you can tell that they're characters and they're wearing masks and yada yada, but there's none of them that really thrive and strive to scare the living shit out of you.
Right.
Some of them are just like ooga booga. No, there's no psychological thing to it. This was a volunteer firehouse that we were doing this in, and we were getting people to like stick their hands in jello that like resembled flesh and had to like dig out eyeballs and shit. And like, they were like, you have to put 5 eyeballs in the plate to move on. And so we're in there, we're screaming at them, smacking the table, just screaming and like shoving the container at them, telling them, get your hands in there right now. Just, and they're like, just freaking the fuck out. And that was so much fun. But God, I would give anything to work a house like that. That's so much fun.
I would say that it would actually have to be a blast to work in a scare house. Like, whenever like I think about it sometimes, that one that I went to be one of the actors, right, that are in there. Your job like must be awesome. Then at the same time, I feel like you'd have to I mean, obviously people can gauge their audience pretty good. Like if there's this dude and you're like, something tells me that if I get right up on his head ass, he's gonna swing at me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you'd be like, oh booga booga, but it'd be from afar, so it'd be like booga booga.
It'd be,
you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Oh booga. Dude comes around, hits you with the fucking elbow.
I always think how funny it would be to like do that job regularly.
That's what I'm saying. Like to be hired as that, like that's your gig all year.
And just like, it just becomes monotonous, right? So you're just like talking to someone about your day. Like, yeah, dude, I was going out and I had to go get my car washed and then I ended up finding out that I had a hole in my car. So there's water getting in that entire time. And I can't get that fixed right now, man. Not in today's economy. Are you kidding? In today's economy, man, you just can't do it. There's something about that that tickles the underside of my giggly gits, that there's just someone somewhere that is dealing with a monotonous job as a scare actor. They are just paid to scream and scare the crap out of people, but they're having to deal with today's issues.
Like, yeah, I mean, like, they do have to deal with that kind of stuff. Like, so are you saying, like, you're, like, in this situation, and you're, like, on a little radio or something? You know what I mean?
Oh, no, they're just, like, talking to someone who's just sitting in front of them. They're like, yeah, man. Yeah, dude, that sucks. Dude, that's... Wow. Oh, people. Yeah, man, I just can't believe that would happen.
Like, you just have the chillest fucking manager in the world.
Yeah, and you're just like, listening to your problems.
Like, it's that one guy that you're excited to work with, you know? You're like, oh, hell yeah, like, fucking Johnny's the manager today. So you're in there and you're just like, so I was sitting there just working the ass and, yeah, and
it's just working this elephant's ass. Funny enough, one of my favorite managers' name is Johnny. Coincidence.
That's a coincidence.
It was
the same Johnny.
Huh?
Same Johnny that I'm talking about right now.
Probably. I mean, he was super chill like that though.
Oh hell yeah.
So it's whenever I worked at the escape game. So a lot of fun things happened at the escape game. We used to do like hide and seek, shut-ins and stuff like that, just after hour stuff. And without saying too much about one of the games, in Prison Break, you find a body. And there's a way to access the body. So during one of the hide and seek things, he wears like it's Prison Break, so he's wearing like an inmate jumpsuit. So I strip off his jumpsuit. I shove his mangled corpse into a corner, and I get into the jumpsuit and I get into it and I lay there.
You asshole.
I just lay there.
You asshole.
But here's the best part. Someone gets in there to hide. We were playing hide and seek and I was trying to hide as Clarence. But they get in there and try to hide. And so they close the door back and it's quiet. And I'm just laying there. And you can hear people walking above us, trying to find us. And I hear her say, "Man, I really hope they don't find me." And I look back and I go, "Yeah, me too." She literally could not. She died. She was ready to just leave this realm at that moment. Because like, she just thought I was Clarence. Clarence's body was so well hidden, and I was laying there, and she's like, "God, I really hope no one finds me." And I go, "Yeah, me too." something that you remember being a lifeless corpse to just suddenly animate and reply to you. Oh my God, I would have given anything, because we don't record footage with the security cams. We didn't at the time. I would have given anything to have gotten that footage. Gosh.
Oh my gosh.
That was the best.
So, you just reminded me, I do have something else to bring in. I tried something for the first time this week. I went to my first escape room.
Nice.
Yeah.
Which one?
The one at the island.
You didn't think to invite me?
There were already like 10 people.
And?
Straight up. Wasn't thinking about it, and I'm very sorry.
Kind of rude.
Julian was there.
Kind of rude.
So you know how I think I told you that I went to a friend's wedding a while back. Her husband works there.
Oh.
Yeah. So he got us in for like a pretty decent price, and I bet you if I were to be like, "Yo, you're a pretty cool dude. Would you mind if I come back?"
You'd be like, "Hey, I have a podcast. Can we do some stuff?"
But it was really fun. It was wild. There were so many people, and it was so cramped.
Which game did you
in the
play?
beginning? It was Mars.
Oh, Mission Mars.
Mission Mars. That was so much freaking fun, dude. I had a couple shining moments in that, right? And I was like, "Oh hell yeah, this is what we do. Oh, this makes so much freaking sense." You know what I mean? Like,
I've only worked that game maybe 5 times, if that, whenever I worked there. I worked that game maybe 5 entire times, because you have to be there for a certain amount of time to work that. And so whenever I'd been there for a hot minute, and they finally were just like, "Okay, yeah, we're going to train you on Mission Mars." I was like, "Okay, it's about damn time." Like, damn. We actually had someone, bless his heart, someone got fired because he fell asleep. He fell asleep while on Mission Mars. He was the game master for that game, and there was just something off. He was just tired, and so he fell asleep mid-game. They got stuck and was asking for clues, and he wouldn't give them the clues because he's asleep. So they just left. And they're like, "Hey, no one's responding to us, so what do we do about that?" It's a little awkward.
that is so sad, man. Because being like operating an escape game, I feel like you would never have a day go by without a story.
Oh, dude.
Like, because you get to see so much of so many people. Like, I was seeing sides of people that, like, I worked with for a long time over this past year, and I was like, okay, you have kicked into some sort of mode that you should stay in. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh my gosh! And there was this one part where this thing happens, and it was so funny. And our game master was actually my friend's husband, right? And he wrote a note and left it in there that said, "Have so and so do this thing," right? And it was Jeremiah. That have Jeremiah do this thing, and he does the thing, and all of a sudden, and my friend Jeremiah was like, "What the?" No! It was so funny. Oh my gosh! And I'm sorry that I muted myself there for a moment, but I refuse to spoil any secrets just in case anyone who's like, "I'm gonna go to Mission Mars," ever decides to do this or watch this show. I'm not going to spoil anything for you.
I would say the next time you guys want to go do that, if you guys want to invite somebody, I'll go there, but I will just be a body. Because I know how the games work.
Yeah, you probably know all the secrets, like you know all the answers to everything.
I would happily just be a body in that room just to watch everybody work. That would be hilarious.
It was really fun. Like, it was really fun. We made it out with like 20 minutes.
That's not bad.
Yeah, it was 19 minutes.
I mean, it was 10 of you guys there, so I mean, if you didn't make it out with 10 people, I probably would have disowned you.
Well, the issue is, like, there's only so many things you can do at a time, right? So there was a lot of times that I was like, I'm just gonna step back. You know what I mean? Because like 10 people trying to cram themselves in like a tiny space that's meant for like maybe 2-3 people, like that is more of a hindrance than 2 or 3 people being in there trying to solve it themselves.
Right.
You know? But yeah, it was very fun. There was a stalker that was, at the island that day. Yeah. I went into the Five and Dime with my fiance and another friend, and this guy like brushed past us, and my fiance was like, "Hey," and I looked back, and the dude was like kind of like looking at us. I was like, "Mm-mm." So like we grouped everybody up. You know what I mean? Like everybody that was there, and I was like, "Okay, let's see what we're gonna do about this." And the guy like eventually ended up leaving us alone because there were 10 of us.
What day was this?
Tuesday.
Tuesday?
Mm-hmm. Day after we recorded the last episode.
Wow. Didn't even think to invite me.
I'm very sorry.
Wow. I wasn't even doing anything that day.
I'm sorry. Dad?
Cannot believe you. The disrespect.
It is disrespectful. I'm sorry. Wasn't thinking.
I mean, to be fair, it's probably a large party of people. Probably people in there I don't like. Probably.
There was.
Yeah. If you are seeing this or hearing this, I will find you, and I will tie you to a tree. I will leave you there.
If you're watching this or hearing this, I'm still your buddy.
I will pour maple syrup on you and leave you in the wild.
I'll make sure nothing eats you. But I can't stop there.
Yeah.
I'd be like, "Hey, man, for real?" You'd be like, "Yeah." Oh, okay.
All right.
I'm going to watch you do this. But just know that,
I'll be mildly disappointed.
I'm not going to let anything actually eat him.
That's what you think.
And then you come in with a fork and knife. Okay, I said I couldn't stop Derek.
I stand corrected. Hold on. Hold up.
So they wouldn't let anything eat him. I didn't say anyone.
Hey, technicalities, am I right? Oh, this. How are you just putting this away?
Like it. It is a little different. It's 5.3%. It's like normal for a beer, but I don't know. There's like every now and then I get like a metallic aftertaste, and I don't really like that. It's not. It's definitely not one of my favorite beers. I'll tell you that.
No. That's why I dread this. I don't really have issues with it per se, because it's not a bad beer. The more I drink, the more I get a taste for it, but like it's just not. It's not hitting the spot. It's more making a void within me.
Void.
It's taken me so long to drink it. There's so much.
12 whole ounces. Well, you got like maybe an extra ounce or so from that one that I finished in your glass.
Those two are mine. You have to drink 3 and 3.
Okay, yes.
I'm just going to drink it out of the bottle because I'm lazy.
Yeah, I kind of wish that I had drunk it out of the bottle because like I could probably savor it more, but whenever I see this, I'm just like, I just gotta drink.
Just got to drink.
That is one thing beer's good for. It'll awaken the demons inside.
Yeah, she's waking up, buddies. So what about you, Alex? We talked about my favorite Halloween experiences. What about yours?
My favorite Halloween experiences. So back in college.
That one time in band camp?
That one time in college, because I was only in college for a year. I had a very close friend at the time, named James. Right? And James had been asking me if I wanted to go stargazing. A lot.
I remember this.
And I was like, usually I was like, I got homework, and I didn't really want to go stargazing, you know what I mean? Like, it's not that I have anything against going stargazing, it's just, I don't know, like, I just didn't want to, you know? Well, Halloween comes, and we're ready to go. I dressed up as, like, a greaser or something, like, I slicked my hair back, I wore a leather jacket and, like, a white shirt.
And whenever you walked, you were doing, like, the whole snapping walk thing?
I did a time or two, yeah.
You're like, all right.
Now, my friend James, on the other hand, decided that he was going to go as a cult leader. Some kind of like some like fantastical thing, you know what I'm saying? So he found this mask, like this bullhead mask, that whenever he would open his mouth, the mouth of the mask would open.
Spooky.
It was awesome. And he had this like robe thing, and like we were just walking around and stuff and doing all that. Well, the night goes on, and my roommate had asked me if I wanted to like hang out with him and the girl that he was seeing at the time and like, drink. And I was like, hell yeah, I would love to do that, but I'm going to hang out with James for a little while today. So I hung out with James that day. We went on this like long drive, like back road and drive, and we were like swapping ghost stories and talking about cryptids and stuff and listening to this like spooky podcast and shit. It was awesome. And he's like, hey, you want to go stargazing? And I was like, I will go stargazing if our other buddy James says, yes, I'll go stargazing. And I was like, okay. The other James ain't going to say yes. I got out of it.
You're like, I'm putting all money in here.
He said, text him. So I did. I texted him and I said, hey man, you want to go stargazing with me and James? And he says, yeah, sure, I'll go. And I was like, fuck. How am I going to get out of this now? I said I would go if he would go, and he's going to go. So I'm like, yeah, we got to go back to campus and pick his ass up. So we start heading back towards campus and stuff. My roommate's like, hey man, you still want to come and drink with us a little bit? And I was like, yeah. Now, fun fact, the girl that my roommate was seeing was somebody that James was interested in and didn't know my roommate was seeing.
Oof.
Yeah. So that was going to be a whole sneaking around thing to do. And we get back to campus and I'm like, oh, hold on a minute. I got to go to this person's room because I had class with that girl. And I go down there for a minute. And I'm like, hey, guys, please lend me some of your booze because I'm not going to be able to stay long.
Lend me your booze.
I can only hang out for a moment because I have to go stargazing now because I done signed my life away. And they're like, absolutely, here, take a Coors, take about 4 or 5 of these little airplane bottles of wine.
This is tough to drink.
And then another Coors. So I drink all of that in the span of like 10 minutes. And in that 10-minute span, James had been like calling me and texting me and shit and being like, where you at? Let's go. And I was like, hey, cool it. I'm coming. I was like, guys, thank you for the booze. And I start I walk my way back up a couple floors to my room, or to our floor, and I like meet James. And I was like, all right, yeah, man, like let's go. We talked for a second and then we start heading down. Now, about the time that I get to James's car, everything hit me like a Mack truck. Like I'm like, whoa, boy, let's go. So we start off on the road. It's like really dark. It's late at night, and I'm shit-faced in the back seat, and James is visibly angry that I am shit-faced in the back seat. Now the other James, the one that agreed to go, we'll call him James B for this one, and James that wanted to go stargazing, James A. Now James B is loving it, right? He's like, hell yeah, let's go. He didn't drink at the time, but he was like, hell yeah, this is awesome. And there's a video on my phone or in my Snapchat history somewhere of me scream singing, just absolutely screaming I'll Fly Away in the back seat of James A's car. Like, we're on our way to this spot. James is mad, and he's like, can't find a good place to be. And I was like, man, we're driving a ways out. Like, why don't we just pull over somewhere? Like, pull off at some place. We were on the interstate. We pulled off on the interstate near this grassy area. And we get out, and James A is pissed. He's like, you can't see the stars as good as you should be able to. And I was like, what are you talking about, man? I was like, look, they're all there. They're up there. Look at them. And I was like, man, this is really beautiful. I was like, thank you so much for talking me into getting me out here to stargaze. And it's about that time, like we had just parked and we were just talking about it, like right outside of the car. And it's about that time I hear something in the woods behind me go, and I went, and we should go home. I was like, this has been fun. Let's go home. And then we go back, more scream singing of I'll Fly Away. We get back to the dorm. James A just speed walks in front of us. Like, he's like not wanting to have shit to do with us. He's ready to go to bed, go home. He's mad. Doesn't even say goodnight. None of that shit. And James B like helps me up, up to the room. And I get up to my room and I think I drink another beer. And I'm like, I want to hang out with my friend. So I go over to James B's room because James A is clearly done for the night. I go to James B's room and I knock on the door and his roommate lets me in and it's pitch black. And I'm like, James, you in here, buddy? And his roommate, the one that let me in because I said, hey, is James here? And he lets me in. The roommate that let me in says, hey, you looking for James? I said, yeah. And he said, he's not here. I said, then why the fuck did you let me in if I'm looking for James?
Solely pulls out a knife, just no reason.
And he's like, no, he's over at this other girl's room. So I go over there and ended up hanging out. They weren't doing nothing like that, no. Like, they were just hanging out watching a movie, and I, like, slunk
Alex
in there.
secretly cock-blocked James B.
James B cock-blocked me, bro. So hard. But anyway, I was, like, sliding around, like, in that room, like, hanging around. I was talking about jujitsu and shit like that, and I was like, I was choking James B, and he was like, Alex, fucking stop. And I was like, I'm not going to hurt you, buddy. Don't worry.
Don't worry, I'm a trained professional.
I'm not. I was not a trained professional.
I can't drink this stuff, man. How are you putting this stuff away?
I'll finish it if you want me to.
You finish this. I can't. I physically... I've got demons. You enjoy that. I tried.
Then this will be my last one.
Those are stout boys.
It goes by Graveyard.
I would have loved to have attempted to love that, but boy howdy, beer just all tastes the same to me. Like camel piss.
You can't. Yeah.
It's so weird though, because like I'm a huge liquor guy. I love liquor.
Yeah.
Liquor, I hardly know her. But beer is just so bad to me. Like, I never really... And we've drank beer plenty of times on this podcast, and it's always been the same. Like, it's... People tell me all the time, like, you just develop a taste for it. You'll just find a niche for it, and you'll start liking it. I, to this day, still do not like it. Those Natty Daddies have been sitting here since the last... Since we aired that shit.
You cannot come at me with the whole using Natty Daddy as an excuse for beer. That's an abomination.
Well, yeah, fair.
I love beer, and that's an abomination.
That, and then also the Bush Apple. That's been sitting there this whole time. I cannot bring myself to drink it. The Bush Apple wasn't bad. Don't get me wrong.
I mean, I like the Bush Apple a lot,
but it still has that beer taste to it. And I just can't. It's like I'm chewing on a plant is what it tastes like for me. Like I'm chewing on some plant. It just has like a weird earthy taste to it that I just don't like. It's got like a certain type of bitterness to it.
It certainly does. I know that there is a beer that you like out there somewhere.
There has to be. But I think it is like the hops and all that other stuff that I just cannot get behind. I don't know what it is. At a certain point in time, I may find a beer that I thoroughly enjoy. There was that one beer, the Blue Ribbon.
PBR, yeah, you liked PBR.
I actually did like PBR a little bit.
Which is wild, because a lot of people shit so hard on PBR. Like there's a lot of people who hate PBR. If you go to B-Dubs, PBR is the cheapest beer you'll find there.
I always get whiskey or some kind of, well, not whiskey. I usually get like a liquor whenever I go there. A cocktail. Everyone calls me a pussy whenever I get drinks because they're like fruity and stuff. I look at them like, boy, you can enjoy your camel piss. So I'm trying to get from point A to point B as fast as possible. If it's an enjoyable ride, then guess what? Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. You can drink your infected bladder. I'll be enjoying literal angel piss. All right? You have fun with that.
You'll slide a road of silk quicker than you will a road of gravel.
Exactly.
I just come up with that.
Congratulations. Needs to go on a t-shirt. New t-shirt.
Fucking Confucius say thing right there. Them some wise words, bro.
I hate the fact that we'll just sometimes pull wise words out of our ass.
Yeah, like you'll walk a road of silk quicker than you will a road of gravel. Which some people are like, well, technically you'd walk quicker on the gravel because you're trying to get to the end of that road. It's like, no, you would choose to walk on the road of silk quicker than you would choose to walk the road of gravel.
Barefoot.
That's what I'm saying, barefoot. Obviously barefoot.
I mean, it wouldn't really obviously be barefoot if you're just saying just to walk it. I find some inconsistencies in your logic there, boyo.
Well, if you were to take old sayings, right? Old saying. I'm going to look one up right now. That'll be a segment on today's episode. My phone is
already on it, big boy.
All right, so let's take like 3 old sayings, good old sayings. Like pick 3 good ones out, and let's try to apply today's logic.
Actions speak louder than words.
I don't know, man. There's a lady who holds the world record for the loudest voice, and it's as loud as a jet engine.
But actions speak louder than words.
Not to a blind man.
I'm pretty sure if I said something mean to a blind man, wouldn't affect him as much if I punched him in the face.
But that's a limited set of actions, though.
If I farted in the same room as him, I'm pretty sure that would be different than saying like, hey, I got a fart.
Okay, hold up.
We have more here. We can.
Okay, let's keep going. Yeah, that you can't dispute that one. I was trying to be a shithead.
Fortune favors the brave. I'll go ahead and say I call bullshit on that one.
I was gonna say I do kind of call bullshit on that as well, because like the brave are the ones who find out what's only edible once.
That's correct. That's very true. Better late than never. I just thought of something super dark.
What are you gonna say?
So it says better late than never.
We can edit this out if we need to.
What about the people who were late for the flight to 9/11?
We're gonna need to edit that shit out.
I don't know. Because it's true. Better late than never, really.
But for them, late was never. Because they never boarded that flight.
That's what I'm saying. Better late than never. They never got on the flight. So, or like, I don't know, for any other kind of natural disaster that you were supposed to show up to, but you couldn't due to something else. No pain, no gain. I believe that's originated from actually like working out. Or, well, I mean, no pain, no gain is kind of non-disputable too. Because you have to put in effort to get effort. No guts, no glory. Still kind of undisputable. If you don't take risks, you don't get anything out of it.
Hold on. Look real quick. About the no pain, no gain. If you were to break it down to a literal sense, there is a sense in which pain could cause,
well, yeah,
negative effects.
Yeah.
But that is true. Most gain, actually all gain, comes from pain of some sort. Like there's like 9 times out of 10, if you're going to gain something, like gain skill or gain anything, there comes a point where you're like, I don't want to do this.
Yeah. Misery loves company.
Misery loves company. I've never heard that one.
I haven't either. Easy come, easy go.
Not always true.
Mm-hmm. If something comes to you easily, it could leave just as easy.
Depends on how long it stays.
But it still leaves.
And it
it's not the duration that it stays, but how easy it is to lose that. Right?
Okay, I got you. Yeah.
Barking dogs seldom bite.
There's a lot of guys that do yell at each other instead of throwing fists, and I do really believe that one.
This is actually a saying that I'm looking at right here. People who appear threatening rarely do harm. But it's also saying that this is related to proof is in the pudding, which is something that doesn't make much sense. Cleanliness is next to godliness.
Okay.
Who says he's clean?
Now, if you... Being a feller who does not walk as he should, you know what I'm saying? But being a believer, being a Christian, a follower of Christianity, Jesus got down in the dirty a lot.
Yeah.
You know, and if you subscribe to the Holy Trinity, then Jesus technically was God while he was the Son of God. And man got down and touched lepers and healed them. That's not clean. You know what I'm saying? I mean, like the healing is clean, but like being in those places was definitely not clean.
All right. So let's. I have actually Southern Living saying, so like you're the bee's knees.
What the fuck is that?
I really don't know. I'm gonna look up the origin of that. But many hands make light work. You really can't argue that.
You can't argue that at all.
Unless those many hands are counterproductive. Don't count your chickens before they've hatched.
That's true.
Pretty indisputable. Rolling stone gathers no moss.
Yep.
Pretty is as pretty does. What you get in, you get out, kind of deal.
Yeah.
A stitch in time saves 9. A little effort now may save you lots of effort for later.
That's what it means. Yeah.
Nice. That's not wrong. You'll catch more flies with honey than with vinegar.
Yeah. That's.
Be nice.
Words. Yeah. Be nice, and you'll.
It's like herding cats. I've heard this one, and I've also used this one a lot. One man's trash is another man's treasure. Beauty's in the eye of the beholder.
I've always wanted to like keep bees, so that I could truly understand beauty. I mean, my fiance is absolutely beautiful, but like, I mean, the meaning, because it's in the eye of the beholder.
Anyway, the squeaky wheel gets the grease.
Yeah, I've heard that one. And that's true.
Mm-hmm. I find that the Southern sayings are trials and tribulation of, I've dealt with this before. Here's the perfect proverb.
And they're also worded perfectly. You know what I mean? Like, it. You know why that is? It's because a lot of people shit on hillbillies, and a lot of people shit on Southerners, and they're like, hey, they're just a bunch of dumb hicks. They don't know what they're talking about. Like, we are hillbillies, yes. We are from this area, yes. But we've seen and we know. We also know how to convey our points in a relatable manner. You know what I mean? Like, of course, a squeaky wheel gets a grease. You relate that to people by being like, the man with the loud mouth gets the shit done.
So, to the contrary to many hands make for fast work, too many cooks spoil the gravy. Yes. I like that.
Many hands make for light work in physical means. Too many cooks spoil the gravy, which is an art of finesse.
Well, it's collaboration. Right? So, like, too many people doing one thing at once could ruin it. But at the same time, too many people doing the same thing can make it easier. Penny save is a penny earned. I've never used that term. I say a penny saved is a dollar earned. That's the phrase that I always knew. Don't put the cart before the horse.
I've used that. I have used that. That's also something. Have you ever played Jack Rocks?
Yeah.
That's something that my mom taught me. It was a rule that she used whenever she was a child. Like when you're doing your threes, 3, 3, 3, and then your 1. If you wanted to get your 1 before you got into your threes, you would have to say cart before the horse, and then you'd grab your 1 because it's not 3. You know what I mean?
Right.
But cart before the horse, that makes a lot of sense. Don't get ahead of yourself.
Yeah, it's first things first. Absence makes the heart grow fonder.
That it does.
Because that's something that's been talked about a lot for like relationships and stuff. Spending all your time with a person that you're in a relationship with can sometimes be negative. You have to have time apart to be closer, which is weird.
What I've found from that is that when you are apart, you are able to grow as an individual human being, which makes your coming together much stronger. Because while you're growing as an individual, they're growing as an individual, and you can come together as these wiser beings.
Yes.
Now, I'm 22. I'm not wise, but you know what I mean.
You know a thing or two. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. Yeah. Agreed. You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. Yeah. A rising tide lifts all boats. Meaning, no room for envy. A rising tide lifts all boats. If you lift everyone's spirits. Make hay while the sun shines. Yeah, use your time wisely. Beggars can't be choosers. Say thank you and move on. I love like the little side notes here. Say thank you and move on.
Yes.
There's no accounting for taste. What the fuck?
Yeah. Do you mind reading into that a little bit more?
There is nothing. It says, though grandma's taste is impeccable. There's no accounting for taste. Now, does that mean like the physical taste? Or like interest?
I think it kind of goes for both.
That makes no sense.
Because physical taste, if it's something that you like, you're going to be interested.
But then there would be accounting for taste. Because if you don't like it, then why are you going to do it?
Exactly. Maybe that means that there's some things that you have to do that you don't like. Maybe that's what it means. There's no accounting for taste. You got to take this medicine.
A thing of beauty is a joy forever. Not really, because sometimes they're a psychopath.
I've seen some beauties that I have met that are shitbags.
Yeah. Goodness gracious.
That's not a wise saying.
Yeah. Don't take any wooden nickels. The sentence it says after, beware the useless. Birds of a feather flock together, never look a gift horse in the mouth. People who live in a glass house shouldn't throw stones.
I've heard that one.
Oh yeah. Can't make an egg without breaking. Can't make an omelet without breaking a few eggs.
Heard that one.
Yep. Making the world of all omelets here, Jack. A trouble shared is a trouble halved. I like that.
I like that a lot as well. I've never heard that one.
Don't throw the baby out with the bathwater.
Good advice.
It says, keep what you treasure, let the rest go, which is, yeah. But what a sentence to say. An apple a day keeps the doctor away. Eat healthy. Yeah. Home's where the heart is. Yep. Technically not that. I mean, if you want to be technical, home is home and home is home. Early to bed and early to rise. Makes you healthy, wealthy, and wise.
I've never heard the ending of that.
Yeah, I mean, that is technically true, but if you go to bed early and you wake up too early, that can actually be the exact opposite of beneficial for you, because you could be losing sleep, which is a problem. I used to do that. I'd love to know where that wealthy part and wise part comes in, but no. This isn't my first rodeo. Classic. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Correct. No use crying over spilt milk. Still doesn't make any sense. It's saying don't cry over something so simple, but like,
well, it's not even. It's not. You got to take it a step further from that. Don't cry if there's nothing you can do about it. Fast.
Fair.
That's what it's about.
I'm going to keep this as uncontroversial as possible, but that's kind of like my deal with some of the major news things going on. So there's a lot of things that goes on in the world, and everyone's like having an uproar about it. And I'm just like, okay, so what are you doing about it? What can you do about it? Is there anything that you can do? No? Then it's not your problem, man. Then why are you making a whole day?
Yeah, like, you don't cry over spilt milk, you clean it up.
Yeah.
There's nothing you can do to have that milk in your glass again.
Day late and a dollar short. Love that one. I love you a bushel and a peck and a hug around the neck.
Never heard the ending of that one.
Same. You're barking up the wrong tree. Yep.
I've heard that one.
Fortune favors the brave. It doesn't cut the mustard.
Not heard that one.
What? Confession is good for the soul. Sometimes. More than you can shake a stick at.
And it's a big deal.
I guess. Strike while the iron is hot. I get it.
I've heard that one.
Yeah. Literally, it's seize the day, but southern. Share and share alike. So share equally, basically. Yeah. Apple never falls far from the tree. Yeah. Get it from your mama, your daddy. There's more than one way to skin a cat.
I've heard that one. In your local.
If at first you don't succeed, there's surely another strategy to try. Not exactly the phrasing that I would choose to say that, but hey, live your life. As I live and breathe.
I have a friend that says that all the time. They'll say that, as I live and breathe. Alex, it's good to see you. I'll be like, holy shit, you.
But that doesn't make any sense.
I have no idea why it's a thing, but it's just a thing some people say.
I'll always say that to Jim. Like, Jimbo, as I live and breathe. Jimbo, is that you? I love that, man. You're preaching to the choir. Know that one? Yeah, that's actually a Southern term that I use all the time. You are preaching to the choir.
Preaching to the choir.
Don't buy a pig in a poke.
That's another Jack Rocks thing that my mom was talking about. Pig in a poke. And I don't remember what the rule. No, it was pig in a pan. Never mind.
It says grandma will not recommend buying something sight unseen.
Don't buy a pig in a poke sack.
What is a poke sack?
Sack. Don't buy a pig if you can't see it.
Ah, that makes sense. Yeah. I mean, but see, here's the thing though. Technically, we do that now. You buy something from like Amazon. Are you physically holding it or are you looking at pictures of it? Right?
Well, there's a chance that what you're buying is a scam.
Yeah.
That you don't get it. That's basically what it comes down to. But like everybody does it now. Everybody buys a pig in a poke.
Everyone buys a pig in a poke. This right here, you're making a mountain out of a molehill.
I've heard that one.
I've used that several occasions and people have shut up after I've used it. Any job worth doing is worth doing well.
Absolutely.
That is a big thing. I actually follow that one all the way home. You can't make a silk purse out of a sow's ear.
I've never heard that one.
Same. You can always count on grandma to be realistic. Every dog has its day. Every now and then, a dog would, get the scraps from the table. If it had been a snake, it would have bitten you. I use that to this day.
I've used that as well. When I'm like looking right at something, being like, where is that thing that I'm looking for? Yeah.
I use that all the time. You're the cat's meow.
I heard that for the first time this year.
Really?
Yes. Because somebody said something. They were like, you're the cat's pajamas. I was like, what? I said, yeah, man, you're the cat's meow. They weren't talking about me, but they were like saying something. They were like, yeah, this lady's the cat's pajamas. I said, the cat's pajamas? I said, what the fuck? He said, you never heard that? That's the cat's meow. The cat's meow.
I've heard the term, but I've never had someone unironically use it.
It's just like you're the bee's knees. You're awesome.
Yeah. It doesn't amount to a hill of beans.
Yeah. Heard that one.
Hurry up, we're burning daylight. Yep. What's good for the goose is good for the gander.
See, that's wild because I think I've heard what's good for the goose is not always good for the gander.
Yeah, that doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
Means what's good for me is what's good for you, but that's not always the case.
Yeah, that's not always the case. Where there's a will, there's a way.
I've heard that.
Basically, kind of a branch off from there's many ways to skin a cat.
Yeah.
Bless your heart. That is two separate meanings behind it. Especially here in the South. Because people be like, oh, bless your heart. Then there's, oh, bless your heart.
Oh, you didn't know, did you?
Oh.
You dummy.
11 old sayings we need to bring back.
Welcome to the 5 o'clock reboot, where we say wise sayings.
As an apple to an oyster.
I heard that one. I gotta pee.
If you've ever been annoyed that apples and oranges are actually quite similar, the 16th century phrase is something very non-apple-y. So basically, comparing apples to oranges, this makes it very apparent that these two things are not the same. Children are certain cares, but uncertain comforts. You can bet you're going to have to change their diapers, but there's no guarantee they'll stick around to change yours. Alternatively, some take this to mean parenthood is extremely stressful, which is also true. Where cobwebs are plenty, kisses are scarce. What? Dirty houses are not sexy. He who would pun would pick a pocket. Okay. If you're such a little character that the best jokes you can come up with are throwbacks from the Brady Bunch Variety Hour, there's nothing you won't stoop to. Fair enough. A friend to all is a friend to none. This is why we hate politicians. They have morphed and pleased so many types of people. They appear dishonest and false. There you go. Garlic makes a man wink, drink, and stink. Garlic inflames your lust, lures you to drunkenness, and makes your entire body smell like overseasoned meat. Correct. Bachelor's wives and maids' children are well taught. If you don't have a spouse or a kid, you know everything about maintaining a healthy relationship with spouses and kids. Oh, wow. This one's kind of deep. We are born crying, live complaining, and die disappointed.
Damn.
That's deep. Gluttony kills more than the sword. Yeah. Very much so.
Yeah.
You should know a man 7 years before you stir his fire. Whether it's a friend or significant other, you should make sure that you know the person before you feel too at home at their place. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
I like that. A substance of a lady's letter, it has been said, always is comprised in the postscript. If from your grandma to your girlfriend, all the preceding paragraphs about the health of pets and the obnoxiousness of Cindy from work means nothing compared to the stuff after the PS.
That's true. Everybody always pays more attention to the PS.
Yeah. These are fun. I like these. 36 classic saying that every man should know.
I'm excited.
I'm very interested in this. Rolling stone gathers no moths. A watch pot never boils. Don't look a gift horse in the mouth. People who live in a glass house shouldn't throw stones. Jack of all trades, master of none.
I've used that.
I've used that a lot. Necessity is the mother of invention.
Yes.
Never heard that.
I've heard that. I think I've heard it a time or two. But, due to a lot of misogynist people, I guess it's, I heard it, necessity is the father of invention. Either way, necessity, I mean, really and truly, because until we see a need for something, it's not there's not, an invention is a solution to a problem.
Right.
There has to be a problem for there to be a solution.
Yeah. Stitching time saves 9. Don't cross the bridge till you come to it. We use that everywhere nowadays.
Yeah.
Every dog has his day. Squeak wheel gets the grease. Discretion is the better part of valor.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't bite the hand that feeds you.
Yeah.
Happens too many fucking times nowadays.
Yeah.
Oh, here's a different version of that. Too many cooks spoil the broth. Yeah.
Yeah, it was gravy because it was southern.
A bird in the hand is worth 2 in the bush.
Remember that Geico commercial for that?
Mm-hmm.
The bird in the hand, really worth 2 in the bush, and it was like this art thing of a bird in a hand. The guy was like, "I'd say it's worth 2 in the bush."
It's worth 2 in the bush. A hunting reference that points out that when you've already caught one bird, you may not be worth risking in order. It may not be worth risking in order to capture the other birds that are still hiding from the bush.
Because you could lose that one bird.
Right. Yeah, I like that. A chain is only as strong as its weakest link.
I heard that.
2 is company, 3 is a crowd. Yeah. Or threesome. Fools rush and where angels fear to tread.
You know, that's biblical. Because there's a story in the Bible where there was a man traveling a road on an ass, right, on a donkey. And he comes to a point and the donkey stops because the donkey knows that there's an angel ahead, or like a guardian, right, ahead, preventing people from crossing this path, right? The donkey stops and the man is furious, cussing his donkey, like beating the donkey, all this other stuff. He's like, go, all this other stuff. It was a beast of burden. And God allowed the donkey to talk. The donkey's like, no, not doing it, bro. There's danger, like, we will die if we proceed, like, literally, which goes to show rush to the path the angels won't go. Even though, like, an angel was the danger ahead, but you know what I mean.
This adage was first used by the English poet Alexander Pope in his poem An Essay on Criticism in 1711. Jeez and crow. Which is also the origin of the advantage to err is a human, to forgive is divine. Fool's Rush in phrase, which Elvis references to his famous song, refers to the way that people with less experience and wisdom hastily try to attempt things that other people with greater skill and judgment would avoid. Yeah. So we're going to take everything you just said, we're going to put it in a box, we're going to close it, we're going to let it sit there.
Dead ass. I think the reason why I'm trying to tie everything to the Bible is because I was talking about Christian shit a little while ago.
Probably. But this means if you put me in a bulldozer, I'd probably end up trying to figure out how it worked to try to move this dirt pile compared to someone who knows how to do it. They'd be like, yeah, no, that's not level. I'm not going to touch that. The last straw to break the camel's back. We already know that one.
Yeah.
Penny wise, pound foolish. Doesn't give me an explanation on that one. When in Rome, doing as the Romans do. No man is an island. No explanation. Struck with iron is hot. Cleanliness next to godliness. Waste not, want not. Use that all the time. Pot calling the kettle black. Yep. Better the devil you know than the devil you don't know. Meaning, I guess. Know your demons versus trying to face something you don't, I guess. I don't know.
Maybe it has to deal with, like, rather than trying to find a different way of solving something, stick with the way that you know. You know what I mean? Like, I know that this way sucks, but I should do it this way just in case the other way gets me hurt.
Right.
That's how I take it anyway.
We officially have some fun ones here. So Achilles' heel. Am I my brother's keeper?
That one is biblical.
Yeah. This one comes from the Bible. Genesis, Cain murdered his brother Abel. God asked Cain, where is your brother? Cain answered, I don't know. Am I my brother's keeper?
Yeah, that was after Cain killed Abel.
Woof. Apple of my eye. This also comes from the Bible, from Psalm 17:8. The writer asks, God, keep him as apple of your eye, which still doesn't quite explain it. Baker's dozen, 13, because the baker eats what he makes. Beat about the bush. Hunting birds, some people would beat around the bush to drive them out in the open. Other people would then catch the birds. Well, I won't beat around the bush came to mean I will go straight to the point without any delay.
That's what it means. That's what we say. Don't beat around the bush. Just tell me straight.
Yeah. On your beam ends. On a ship, the beams are horizontal timbers that stretch across the ship and supports the deck. If you're on your beam's ends, your ship is leaning at a dangerous angle. In other words, you are in a precarious situation. I like that. On your beam ends. I kind of like that one. Beeline. Bee flew in a straight line in their hive. Yeah. Beyond the pale. Originally, a pale was an area under authority of a certain official. in the 14th and 15th century. The English king ruled Dublin and the surrounding area known as the Pale. Anyone beyond the Pale was seen as savage and dangerous. Huh. Bigwig. Know that one. Many women wore wigs. And the most important men wore the biggest wigs. Bite the bullet. I actually know about that one. That one is also used in Civil War times, where they would physically bite a bullet while they had surgery on themselves. The biter being bitten. So the biter being bitten in 17th century, a biter was a con man. Talk about the biter being bitten was originally a phrase about a con man being beaten at his own game.
Huh. Which makes sense. The conner being con, the scammer being scammed.
Yeah. Bitter end. Didn't actually know that this was a phrase. Anchor cable wrapped around the post is called bits. The last piece of the cable was called the bitter end. If you let the cable to the bitter end, if you let out the cable to the bitter end, there was nothing else you could do, and you had reached the end of your resources.
Yeah, that's like whenever people would say, like, they're at the bitter, like, you know, we did whatever till the bitter end, which meant till you were out, till you were done.
That
all you could do.
That makes so much sense. The blind leading the blind. Matthew 15:14. Jesus Christ rises the religious authorities of his day, saying they are the blind leaders of the blind. Yep. Meaning they had no idea what they were talking about. Blue blood means aristocrats. Yep. Bobby's Peelers. So both nicknames for policemen came from Sir Robert Peel, who was founded the first modern police force in 1829. So Bobbies or Peelers. Because Robert, Bob. To boot.
I wonder where this came from.
If you get something to boot, it means that you get extra. However, it has nothing to do with the boots you wear on your feet. It is a corruption of the old word bot, which means profit or advantage.
If you're like,
so if you bought a pair of boots and they gave you a belt buckle, I got these boots and a buckle to boot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Born with a silver spoon in your mouth, obviously. Yeah. A broken reed. Also another biblical term. This phrase is from Isaiah 36:6, when Assyrians laid siege to Jerusalem, and one of them stood outside of the walls and asked if they hoped for help from Egypt. He described the Egypt as a broken reed. That doesn't explain anything beyond that. Chap. So chap. This word is derived from the old word chapman, which meant a merchant or trader. It, in turn, was derived from cheapman, or capeman. I don't know. A word. Cape means to sell. Chock-a-block.
I've never heard chock-a-block.
When pulleys or blocks on a sailing ship were pulled so tightly together that they would not be moved any closer, and they were said to be chock-a-block. Okay. Coals to Newcastle. Cock-a-hoop.
Coals to Newcastle. Have you heard that one?
I have not.
You have, if you've watched all Sam Manella's stuff. Okay, so Newcastle. Okay, so there was this guy, the luckiest fucking guy on this whole planet.
Yeah.
So y'all, basically, Newcastle was a mining town, right? So carrying coal to Newcastle was thought of as a useless idea because you wouldn't it would be stupid to sell coal to Newcastle because Newcastle was a town that mined coal.
Yeah.
Now, that was a saying back in the day, and there was a man who got insanely rich. You know, like he was rich already. Like he had made some stupid investment and like
because they ran out of, they had a coal shortage.
What? It was a strike. It was a miners' strike. They said, "Yeah, why don't you go ahead and you may as well carry coal to Newcastle." And the guy said, "That's a fucking great idea." The dude was a dummy.
All right.
He said, "All right." So he buys, buys a fuck ton of coal and literally decides to sell it to Newcastle. But the thing is, while he was doing that, there was a strike going on in Newcastle. So Newcastle paid fuck tons of money for this coal. And the guy got a shit ton of money about it. But carrying coal to Newcastle was thought of as it's a stupid idea. It's useless. It's doing something that you won't see any fruition of.
Cock-a-hoop.
What?
Cock-a-hoop. Cock-a-hoop. This phrase comes from a primitive tap called spile and shiv. A shiv was a wooden tube at the bottom of a barrel, and the spile was a wooden bung. Remove the shiv to let the liquid flow out and replace it to stop the flow. A spile was sometimes called a cock. If people were extremely happy and wanted to celebrate, they took out the cock and pulled it and put it on the hoop on top of the barrel so that they could to let the drink flow freely. So the cock-a-hoop. So cock-a-hoop came to mean ecstatic. So I'd be like, man, I am just cock-a-hoop. Huh. Interesting. Cock and bull story.
Bull? Cock
Bull.
And bull. Yes.
Cock and bull. This
Rooster
phrase
and bull,
was
yes.
first recorded in the 17th century. Probably comes from an actual story about a cock and a bull that is now lost. Okay, then why do we still want to use it?
Well, if you think about it, a cock and a bull are two animals that can be very aggressive.
Sure. Cloud Cuckoo Land.
What?
Utopian City. Good place. I don't fucking know. Copper. Yeah. Crocodile tears.
That one, yeah.
Insecure displays of grief or sadness. It comes from the old belief that crocodiles wept insincerely if it killed and ate a man.
Yeah, so like if you see somebody who's like, like, oh man, I really hate that.
I murdered 15 people.
I murdered 15 people. I'm really sorry for it. It's crocodile tears.
Now cut and run. You know that.
Where does it come from?
In an emergency, rather than haul up the anchor, the sailors would cut the anchor cable and then run with the wind. Welcome to the educational portion of the 5 o'clock reboot.
Listen, I think we should do this kind of shit more.
It's fun. What the dickens? This old saying
Charles
does not
Dickens?
come from the writer Charles Dickens, 1812 to 1870. It's much older than him. It has been around since at least the 16th century. Originally, Dickens was another name for the devil.
The devil. Okay.
Different kettle of fish.
We're past wise sayings. Now we're just to sayings.
Yeah. In the past, a kettle wasn't necessarily a device to boil water to make a cup of tea. A pot for boiling food like fish was also called a kettle. Unfortunately, nobody really knows why we say a different kettle of fish. Okay. Don't look, you give horse in the mouth. Doubting Thomas.
Doubting Tom, that's a biblical one.
Yep. This phrase comes from John 20:24 through 27. After his resurrection, Jesus appeared to his disciples. However, one of them, named Thomas, was absent. When the others told him that Jesus was alive, Thomas said that he did not believe until he saw the marks of Jesus' hands and the wound on his side caused by a Roman spear. Jesus appeared again and told Thomas to stop doubting and believe. So it would stop being a doubting Thomas, I guess. Down at heel.
Right on me.
If the heels of your shoes were worn, if the heels of your shoes were worn down, you had a shabby appearance. So you're looking a little down at the heel, and you look rough.
To look rough. Yeah.
Dutch courage.
That's a Go ahead. Tell it all, brother. Tell it all.
In the 17th century, England and Holland were rivals. They fought in wars 1652 through 54, 1665 through 67, and 1672 through 74. It was said, very unfairly, that the Dutch had to drink alcohol to build up their courage. Other insulting phrases are Dutch treat, meaning you pay for yourself, and double Dutch, meaning gibberish.
So Dutch courage is basically Tennessee courage. Like,
yeah.
Alcohol, yeah.
It's basically like where liquid courage basically came from.
Yeah.
Dyed in the wool.
No.
Wool that was dyed before it was woven. Kept its color better than wool that was dyed after weaving or dyed in the piece.
So the sheep was dyed in the wool.
Yeah. Earmarked. It comes from the days when livestock had their ears marked so that owners could be easily identified.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. Eat, drink, and be merry. Biblical. Is less illegally.
This whole saying is from Ecclesiastes 8:15. A man has no better thing under the sun than to eat and to drink and be merry.
There you go. 3 things you need to be happy. Escape by the skin of your teeth, which is a phrase that comes from the Bible, from Job 19:20. Yep. Feet of clay. If a person we admire has a fatal weakness, to say that they have feet of clay. This phrase comes from the Bible. King
Let me see it.
Let me see. Hold on, I got this. Nebuchadnezzar. Nebuchadnezzar. Shut up. Nebuchadnezzar dreamed of a statue. It had a head of gold, arms, chest of silver, belly, and thighs of bronze. And its legs were of iron.
What book is this from? Does it say what book it's from?
Just the Bible. However, its feet were made of a mixture of iron and clay. A rock hit the statue's feet, and the whole statue was broken. Daniel interpreted the dream to be about a series of empires, which all of which would eventually be destroyed. Daniel 2:27 through 44. Fiddle while Rome burns. There's a legend when Rome burned in 64 AD, Emperor Nero played lyre on the fiddle. Not the fiddle. Played the lyre, not the fiddle. Sorry. Historians are skeptical about the story. Flash in the pan. Muskets had a priming pan.
Oh, yes.
Which was filled with gunpowder. When the flint hit the steel, it ignited the powder in the pan, which then ignited the main charge of the gunpowder fired the musket ball. However, sometimes powder in the pan failed to light the main charge. In that case, you had a flash in the pan.
Yeah, so it's basically...
You fucked up.
Yeah.
You failed. Fly in the ointment. This is another Lesticles. Ecclesiastes 10:1. The writer says that the dead flies give perfume a bad smell. In old versions of the Bible, the word perfume is translated to ointment. Flying colors.
Flying colors is a flag.
Mm-mm. If a fleet won a clear victory, and the ships would sail back to port with their colors proudly flying from their masts.
Flag.
Oh. I thought you just meant like a flag.
No,
freelance.
Okay.
This is dumb. Freelance. In the Middle Ages, freelances were soldiers who fought for anyone who would hire them. They were literally free lances. That's dumb.
I feel like freelance. I feel like that's higher. I feel like they weren't. I feel like that's a thing for mercenary though. Like you said, hire. Like while they're not like free by money wise, it's like free as in like I'll fight for anyone as long as they pay me.
Yeah, that's just. I thought it would be a little more cool than From the horse's mouth, you can tell an age of a horse by the examining its teeth. A horse dealer may lie to you, but you can always find out the truth from the horse's mouth. Nice. Get the sack.
Which also goes to, which is also why. But they also say don't look a gift horse in the mouth, which is even though you may be taking shit, be thankful because it's a gift.
So to get the sack, I've heard this saying quite often. This comes from the days when workmen carried their tools in sacks. If your employer gave you the sack, it was time to collect your tools and go. Wow.
I got sacked. I got sacked.
Yeah. Huh. Gild the lily. This phrase is from King John by William Shakespeare. To gild refined gold, to paint the lily is wasteful and ridiculous excess. Go the extra mile. By law, a Roman soldier would force everyone to carry his equipment 1 mile. In Matthew 5:41, Jesus told his followers, if anyone forces you to go 1 mile, then go 2 miles with him. All right. Go to pot. Any farm animal that has outlived its usefulness, such as a hen that no longer laid eggs, would literally go to pot. Wow. Golly gosh. In the past, it wasn't polite to use the exclamation God. Instead, people said golly or gosh. Sometimes they said heck instead of hell.
Yep.
Goodbye. Oh, this is a contraction of the words God be with ye.
Oh my gosh.
Holy shit.
Now, that is very odd to me, and I'll tell you why. Because whenever I was learning Irish Gaelic, hello is Diawit, which means God with you.
There you go. For all you people who scream from the mountaintops that you're an atheist or whatever for negative reasons and not the actual people who are, there you go. Every single time you say goodbye, you're preaching what you hate. Hat trick. This one comes from cricket. Once a bowler who took 3 wickets in successive deliveries was given a new hat by his club. Okay.
I was trying to look into cricket a year ago, and it's just wild to me.
Hiding your light under a bushel.
I feel like that one's biblical.
Yes. A bushel was a container for measuring grain. In Matthew 15:15, Jesus said, neither do men light a candle and put it under a bushel, but on a candlestick.
Yeah. This little light of mine, I'm going to let it shine.
Shine.
That's what it's...
Hobson's choice. This means to have no choice at all. In the 16th century, the early 17th century, if you went on a journey, you could hire a horse to take you from one town to the other and travel using a relay of horses. That was better than wearing out your own horse a long journey over very poor roads. In the early 1600s, Thomas Hobson was a man in Cambridge who hired out horses. However, he would not let customers choose which horse they wanted to ride. Instead, they had to ride whichever horse was the nearest to the stable entrance. So if you had hired a horse from him, you were given Hobson's choice. So you don't have a choice. I tell you what you're going to do. Hoist by your own petard.
The fuck's a petard?
A petard was a type of Tudor bomb, which contained gunpowder, which was a container of gunpowder and a fuse, which was placed against a wooden gate. Sometimes all things do not go as planned, and the petard exploded prematurely, blowing you into the air. You are hoisted by your own petard, so you are the maker of your own undoing.
I got you.
Holier than thou.
I've used that.
This comes from the Bible, Isaiah 65:5. The Old Testament prophet berates people who say, "Stand by thyself, come not near me, for I am holier than thou."
Yeah.
Nice. Humble pie. The expression to eat humble pie was once to eat umble pie. The umbles were the intestines or less appetizing parts of an animal, and servants and other lower class people ate them. So
humble pie is humble pie.
To humble yourself.
Yeah.
Wow, holy shit. We're learning a whole lot here. So if a deer was killed, the rich ate venison, and those low status ate humble pie. In the time it became corrupted to eat humble pie, and came to mean to debase yourself or act with humility. So now humble is because these people had to eat that.
Yeah,
it's what they had to eat.
Yeah, so like if you are having to eat that, then you're eating humble pie. You are being
humble yourself, bitch. Kick the bucket.
I want to know where this comes from. I know that means die.
When slaughtering a pig, you tied its back legs to a wooden beam. In French, it's bouquet. As the animal died, it kicked the bouquet. That's fucked up. Know the ropes. On a sailing ship, it was essential to know the ropes.
I was going to say, I feel like that would be a fucking sailing thing because there were so many ropes tied to so many things. You didn't know your ropes.
Let me show you the ropes.
Yeah, let me show you the ropes. Oh my God.
Knuckle under. Once a knuckle meant any joint, including the knee. To knuckle under means to kneel in submission. Lamb to the slaughter. This is from Isaiah 53:7. He is brought as a lamb to the slaughter. Later is a verse applied to Jesus. Resting on your laurels. Look at your laurels. Resting on your yanny. Look to your yannies.
Resting on your laurels, basically, is like to rest on your laurels is to do what you know.
Yeah, relying on your past achievements. A leopard cannot change its spots, which is another old saying from the Bible. This one comes from Jeremiah 13:23. Can an Ethiopian change his skin or a leopard his spots? Let the cat out of the bag. Fun.
I want to know where this is from.
Oh, my bag. The old saying is probably derived from the days when people who sold piglets in bags sometimes put a cat in the bag instead. If you let the cat out of the bag, you expose the trick.
Yeah.
Huh. I like these. These are really fun. Lick into shape.
Now lick. Go ahead. Sorry, whenever I think of lick, I think of like some old folks being like, "Oh yeah, I hit him a lick," you know. But yeah, that may not.
Well,
be
this
it.
This is actually interesting. In the Middle Ages, people thought that bear cubs were born shapeless.
So
their mothers literally licked them into shape. Lily-livered. All right.
I've heard that, but I never really understood where it came from.
Means cowardly. People once believed that your passion came from your liver. If you were lily-livered, your liver was white because it did not contain any blood. So you were a coward.
Huh.
Interesting. A little bird told me. This whole thing comes from the Bible. Ecclesiastes 10:20. The writer warns us not to curse the king or even the rich, or the rich, even in private, or a bird of the air may report what you say. Lock, stock, and barrel. This phrase comes because guns used to have three parts: the lock, the fire mechanism, the barrel, wooden butt of the gun, and the barrel. a long shot.
Like that one's self-explanatory.
Pretty self-explanatory. Literally says, so a long shot fired over a long distance had a small chance of hitting its target.
Yeah.
Long in the tooth.
Go ahead.
When a horse grows old, its gums recede. So if you examine its mouth, it looks long in the tooth. So that's like another way for calling somebody old. Mad as a hatter. Self-explanatory. Maudlin. Maudlin. The corruption of Magdalene Mary. Magdalene was a follower of Jesus. In paintings, she was often shown weeping tears and repentance. Sorry. So she became associated with sentimentality.
She was a prostitute.
Yeah. Moot point. This comes from the Saxon word moot or mote, which means a meeting to discuss things. A moot point was one that needed to be discussed or debated. Huh. Nail your colors to the mast.
I've never heard that saying, but
I've heard this.
Nail your colors to the mast. Is that like? Okay, go ahead. I'm not gonna make fun of myself anymore.
Well, I was gonna say you probably were gonna say something that along the lines of this. In battle, a ship surrendered by lowering its flag. If you nailed your color to the mast, you had no intention of surrendering. You were totally loyal to your side.
Fuck, I should have talked.
I was gonna say because that even though I read it, like it just made sense. Nail your colors to the mast.
You can't lower them if you nail them.
You can't lower if it's nailed in. Namby-pamby.
What?
What the fuck? This is originally a nickname for a poet, Ambrose Phillips, who was known for writing sentimental verse. That doesn't make anything. That makes no sense. Nickname. This is a corruption of ekname. The word ek means alternative. Huh.
So Nick is an ek for nickname.
Yeah. No rest for the wicked, which is a phrase from the Bible. In Isaiah 57:21, the prophet says, there is no peace, saith my God to the wicked. On tenterhooks. Pandemonium. There we go. This comes from John Milton's poem Paradise Lost. In hell, the chief city of Pandemonium. In Greek, Pandemonium means all the devils.
Demonium.
Yeah. Peeping Tom. According to legend, a man named Leofric taxed the people of Coventry heavily. His wife, Lady Godiva, begged him not to. Leofric said he would end the tax if she rode through the streets of Coventry naked. So she did. Peeping Tom is a much later addition to the story where everyone in Coventry was supposed to stay indoors with his or her shutters closed. However, Peeping Tom had a sneaky look at Godiva and was struck blind. Interesting. I'm actually going to look through here real quick to find some fun stuff. Pin money, potluck. The big pot for cooking. If you sat down to the meal with a family, you often had to take potluck, which would never be quite sure what you would be served. Interesting.
Okay, which makes sense for what people call a potluck, which is where everybody brings something. But a lot of people sign things, like if you like having a potluck at work, a lot of people sign what they're going to bring, so it's not technically a potluck. A potluck would be just bring something.
Pull the wool over my eyes. In the 18th century, it was the fashion to wear white, curly wigs. So they were nicknamed wool, possibly because they resembled a sheep's fleece. But that doesn't explain that. Pull out all the stops. Oh, this saying comes from church organs. It's getting late. Pulling out all the stops lets air flow through the pipe to make a sound.
Huh.
That's really cool. Wreck and ruin. Read the riot act. Red herring. Poachers use unsavory characters would drag a herring across the ground where they had just walked to throw dogs off their scent.
So people would follow a red herring. So like they would drag the dead, which is the bleeding herring, across the ground. The dogs would follow the herring. They would drag that behind them and then toss the herring and then run another way.
So actually, the herrings are made red by the process of curing.
Oh,
interesting. Red tape. This phrase comes from the days when the official documents were bound with red tape. Red letter days. Saints were marked with red on calendar. People did not work on the saints' days or holy days. Our word holiday is derived from holy day. Didn't know that.
that makes sense to me.
Rub salt into a wound. Yep, this is derived from the days when salt was rubbed into a wound as an antiseptic. Rule of thumb. This comes from the days when craftsmen used their thumb for making rough measurements.
Huh.
I like that.
Beats the hell out of
Salt of the earth.
They beats the hell out of what they said in Boondock Saints.
Ooh, scapegoat. In the Old Testament, Leviticus 16, 7 through 10, 2 goats were selected. One was sacrificed, the other was spared, but the high priest laid his hands on it and confessed the sins of his people. The goat was then driven into the wilderness. He was a symbolic scapegoat for those people's sins.
Huh.
Scot-free. This has nothing to do with Scotland. Scot is an old word for payment. So if you went scot-free, you went without paying.
Huh.
To see a man about a dog. This is an old saying that first appeared in 1866 in a play by Dion Boucicault. It was called The Flying Scud, in which character makes the excuse that he's going to see a man about a dog to get away. Set your teeth on edge. This is from Jeremiah 31:30. Every man that eats the sour grape, his teeth shall be set on edge. Shambles. Sibboleth. Short shift. Show your true colors. Pirate stuff. Sold a pup. Okay. Spinning a yarn. I mean, we use that term on here. Ropes were made in ports everywhere. The rope makers chatted while they worked. They told each other stories while they were spinning a yarn.
Spin me a yarn. Tell me a story.
Tell me a story.
Like I've heard. Yeah, we've used that.
Ooh, spick and span.
Where does this come from?
Today, this means neat and tidy, but originally the saying was spick and span new. A span was a wood shaving. If something was newly built, it would have the telltale wood chips, so it was span new. Spick is the old word for nail. New spicks or nails would be shiny. However, the word as phrases often changed their meaning over the centuries, and spick and span became the new meaning to neat and tidy. Interesting. Spinster. Spoil the ship for a halfpenny worth of tar. A square meal. Start from scratch. That's pretty self-explanatory. Straight-laced. And tight, narrow. In Tudor times, it was mostly a decoration of laces that would hold the clothes together. If a woman was straight-laced, she was prim and proper. All right, I can't fucking talk anymore.
I was about to say we're near 2 hours.
Yeah,
Here,
Alex,
go ahead.
Let's fucking talk about this drink.
Let's do it. We've had the hour of educational content.
Yeah, you're welcome, by the way.
Yeah.
If you're still here.
Y'all learned
About new sayings. I actually learned something new today.
I learned a lot.
I have tried to make it a point to learn something new every single day.
Yeah.
to learn some new patch of knowledge every single day so that I never grow dull. I love that. So I just learned a bunch of new stuff, a bunch of original meanings to words. That's cool. I'm happy with that. But Alex?
Yes.
What are you going to be rating our boy Samuel Adams' Octoberfest?
Okay, so Sam Adams Octoberfest, for real, had some flavor in it.
For real.
Sorry, it did have a hearty flavor, and it was smooth. I did drink a few of them, but there was an aftertaste that didn't quite sit that good with me. I don't know, man. Like, it just didn't hit me like I really hoped it would. You know? I mean, like, obviously I am feeling it, but it's just not what I was really hoping for. It's not bad. I would drink it if someone offered it to me, but I'm probably not going to go and buy it.
No.
So for that, I'm going to give it a solid... I just remembered that metallic aftertaste that I got a time or two. I'm going to give it a solid 245.
Damn, that's generous.
No, well, 245 because, like, I would drink it, and I would drink several of them with a friend, but I won't go and buy it. Like, I would have a good time with it. It's just I'm not willing to make that effort.
Right.
So,
yeah.
Like, it's just barely over that halfway point.
Yeah.
Derek, where does this lie on your clock?
I don't like it. I drank it. I drank a whole bottle. I drank some of another bottle. I could not find it in me to enjoy this drink at all. There was nowhere along the lines that I was like, damn, you know what? There's a redeeming factor to this. This has a redemption arc. No. I don't like beer. I've never liked beer. And this was like, even with the other ones, I could still drink. I could still put them away. This one just hit a whole new low. I just could not fathom it. So, since I had to actually stop drinking it, I'm going to give it 130.
Damn, that's more than I thought you were going to give it, straight up.
I was considering like a 12-15, but I did at least finish a bottle.
Yeah.
That was rough.
I expected that, straight up. I expected a very low score for this.
Yeah. But Alex.
Yes.
Based upon your 4 bottles that you have now consumed.
Now, they are not 4 full bottles, mind you.
No, technically they are.
On my second one, I poured a little bit out into your glass, and then
that is true.
That
is true.
And then
that is true.
And out of my last bottle, I was missing like 2 or 3 swigs.
Correct. But you're 3 and some change. What do you think?
Okay. So
what are you wearing?
Right now, what I'm wearing, I am at work. Not my current work, but like doing a man's job.
Doing a man's job.
Yeah, I'm getting ready to go. Getting ready to do some yard work around the house.
Mm-hmm.
Like some hardcore, like, you know, some things I need to get done. Now, obviously, I'm not like white collar, freaking choking myself on a collar or anything like that. I'm in some loose fitting clothes, you know, like I've got me a nice old t-shirt, comfortable t-shirt.
One of those older t-shirts got grease stains.
One of them old t-shirts got grease stains. I don't mind getting it dirty. I got this old pair of work pants that I've had for years that I enjoy being in them because they're not rough on me. They're comfortable, but they're on me, and I got a belt to make sure they don't fall down because I'm about to go to fucking work.
They're good enough.
I'm in comfy clothes, but I am fully clothed. Like fully clothed. Like I am good to go. It's really funny when we're ZBN here on this podcast. We're usually very descriptive, but if we're clothed, we're fucking clothed.
Yeah, there's nothing special about it.
So, Derek.
Yeah.
I have to ask. Because I am a naughty boy. I want to know, what are you wearing?
Naked, no. I mean, I did drink one and some change. I started to get somewhere there in the beginning, but it wore off quick. Really quick. So I'm thinking, I'm hanging out at my house, watching some Netflix or something. My phone rings. Pick up my phone. It's my good buddy Alex. I answer the phone. He's like, "Hey man, I'm about to do some work out here, out in the yard. I was wondering if you want to hang out, drink some beer, and help me out with some of this yard work." I said, no to the first, yes to the second. I'll be on my way there. He's like, "Okay, man." Bah. And I throw on one of my shirts that's got a couple holes in it. It's comfy, but it's uncomfortable enough just to keep me going. Got my old blue jeans on, the ones that look like they're about to have holes in them, but they're just durable enough to survive the span of time. And I make my way over there. I did forget my boots for a second. I had to drive back home and go get those. And then I make my way there. I think me and my good buddy Alex made that yard look extra sexy. But yeah, even though for a moment there I was out in my boots, yeah, no, I'm pretty fully clothed right now, man.
Yeah, I mean, I really expected, after having as much as I've had, I expected to feel it more than I did, especially, just because that's the way it is.
And you drank 3 and some change.
Granted, it has been 2 hours, and I drank the first couple in that first hour.
Even then, you'd still at least have it in your system, but it's a little disappointing, but also it's a beer. Fuck it. But anyway, guys, gals, non-binary pals, this has been another installment of the 5 o'clock reboot, where for the first time in a hot minute, we've come out completely sober due to, well, my lack of trying and apparently Alex's iron lung or iron liver here. Honestly, I don't know what to tell you guys. I don't really enjoy it. I'm just not a beer guy. That's my thing. I'm just not a beer guy. I tried my best, folks. But we'll be trying again next week for other Octoberfest beers, which can be German beers or anything that's like got Octoberfest on it. But right. I kind of don't want to stick to an Octoberfest. I want to go for German. I only got this one because Samuel Adams, Octoberfest. Ta-da.
Yeah, I mean, it's like literally says Octoberfest on the bottle.
Yeah, it's like it's America's Oktoberfest drink. So, I don't know, man. I'm kind of disappointed. So we'll just see how it goes the next week.
Sure.
But guys, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, check out the Discord. Make sure you guys get up in there. Give us some ideas of what to do in the future.
Please do.
We always love talking to people in there. I need to get Belmo. Belmo needs to be made into a shirt, but I have a separate idea. We're going to make Belmo into a mug.
I was thinking that because of that stream that we did, the live stream on TikTok, where I drew Belmo like that.
Yes. And we already know what episode it is. I'm going to do my best to try to pull a still image from it. But yes, Belmo will be made into a shirt or a mug at some point in time. But until then, guys, brain fart. We will catch you guys in the next episode.
Bye.